Whispers in the Woods. In the small town of Pine Hollow, nestled between ancient woods and sprawling hills, the air was always thick with legend. The stories of the cryptids that roamed the forests had been whispered down through generations, tales of creatures so strange they felt ripped right from the pages of a nightmare. Most people the town knew to avoid the woods after sundown, a cultural understanding that triggered cold sweats and uneasy glances. But that was just fine with 16-year-old Mia Thompson. Mia was the kind of girl who believed in the scientific method and sought logical explanations for everything, though she found herself drawn to the thrill of urban legends. On the cusp of summer break, she found herself on the cusp of something much scarier, an investigation. With her friends, Tom, a tall shadow of a boy with wild curls, and Lily, a girl full of energy and unbeatable optimism, Mia set out on a bright Saturday morning, armed with a worn-out notebook, a flashlight, and the confidence of youth. They were determined to delve deep into the heart of the infamous Pine Hollow woods. The latest buzz among the locals was about a creature that had recently been sighted, a tall, gaunt figure, cloaked in shadows with white, reflective eyes and a bone-chilling scream that could curdle your blood. "Come on, it's just a bunch of stories." Mia laughed as they made their way through the underbrush, her heartbeat racing in exhilaration. "You guys are scared of some old wives' tales." "Not scared. Just aware," Tom retorted, glancing nervously at the trees looming over them. They moved deeper into the woods, the once comforting sounds of the town fading behind them, replaced by eerie silence and an uncomfortable rustling of leaves. As they ventured further, the sunlight filtered weakly through the tangled branches above, casting strange shadows on the ground. It was hard not to glance over their shoulders. Something about the woods felt alive. There were stories of how many who entered didn't come back, lost to the sprawling tangle of vegetation, never to be seen again. Yet each shred of doubt was buried beneath Mia's growing sense of adventure. Hours seemed to stretch as they hiked deeper, each step guiding them toward an earlier told tale, a clearing known as Whispering Glen. It was said to be a place of enchantment where the cries of lost souls mingled with the wind, and it was there that the creature was last sighted. "See, this isn't so bad," Lily chirped, drawing in a deep breath, though something ambiguous shadowed her eyes. Just as they entered the glen, a sudden chill descended, flooding the space with an unsettling energy. The clearing was dense with fog, and the air felt charged with palpable tension. For a moment, they stood in silence, their laughter dying on their lips as though the woods themselves were listening. "Let's take a picture," Tom suggested, eager to lighten the mood. The three of them huddled together as he snapped a picture, the camera capturing their bright smiles against the backdrop of creeping dread. But when they looked to review the image, there was a strange flickering backdrop. A silhouette stood at the edge of the glen, slightly blurred, with two glowing, white eyes staring back. "Did you see that?" Mia gasped, her heart thundering now. "See what?" Tom replied, though his face had turned pale. Lily just stared at the picture, frozen. After a moment, she swallowed hard and said, "I think we should go now." But before they could make a move, a cacophony of horrifying screams broke the serene surface of the woods. It echoed from all directions, a sound so primal it struck a deep chord in their chests. The air suddenly felt stifled, and the trees around them seemed to lean closer, as though the woods were about to devour them whole. Mia's instincts kicked in, and she grabbed Tom's arm. "Run." They bolted back through the tangled undergrowth, branches snagging at their clothes, desperation fueling their speed. Behind them, the sound of panting grew louder. Something was following them. The screams turned into sporadic growls, a chorus of dread that felt all too real, echoing in the suffocating air. Panic set in as they stumbled onto uneven ground, the lurking presence only inches from their heels. They never looked back. They ignored the foliage that reached out like skeletal hands and the whispers that filled their ears, drowning their cries for help with unspeakable terror. The woods began to twist and turn in diabolical patterns, disorienting them until they lost all sense of direction. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they burst back into the feeble daylight of the town. Breathless and shaken, they turned to the woods. Silence reigned, the heavy malice of preceding moments dissipating into the summer air. But the fear lingered. They vowed never to return. Months later, when autumn replaced summer's ease and Halloween approached, the tales grew louder again. Mia often thought about that day and the terror that chased them, and she struggled to convince herself it was just their imaginations running wild. But as the clock struck midnight hours earlier, fall leaves outside swirled in a ghostly dance. Her phone rang. The name flashing across the screen made her heart drop. It was Tom, unsettled, with shaky breath filling the line. "Mia, you need to come to the woods. I have something to show you." As the moon cast its silver light, Mia felt the tug of the unknown pull her back in. Cryptids resided where rationality feared to tread, but it could wait. For now, something dark was already waiting for her arrival, hiding in the shadows, eager to remind her, the woods never forget.